The Atlanta Hawks just pulled one of the biggest upsets in the NBA season. And in this video, I'm going to recap this game, but also tell you what this means for the Atlanta Hawks going forward. Now, for those who don't know, the Atlanta Hawks, down 6 players, defeated the defending champion Boston Celtics. And it took an amazing game from a lot of people, but they ended up winning. Now, when I'm talking about the Atlanta Hawks in this game, but also in the season going forward, I have to utilize 4 words to describe how I'm feeling and where I think the Atlanta Hawks will go. Now, those 4 words are Dyson, they are trade, they are forward, like moving forward, and their future. Now, number 1, Dyson, is not that difficult to figure out what this means. And that is Dyson Daniels. And the reason why I'm bringing him up, because he played out of his mind yesterday. 28 points, 6 steals. I think that's a back-to-back game with 6 or plus steals. 7 rebounds. He guarded their best player, Jason Tatum, who was limited to 20 points. And he was honestly complaining at the end of the game. Who cares? He was quote-unquote put on lockdown. And the fact that the Atlanta Falcons got Dyson Daniels, who could be an all-NBA first-team player, that has to be one of the biggest value investments that the Atlanta Hawks have made since Trae Young. And if you agree or disagree with me, leave a comment down below. But Dyson Daniels is one of the best defenders in the NBA now. And he looked like he was one of the best players on the court yesterday. Now, Dyson is phenomenal. But this leads me into my next word, which is the trade. And the reason why I bring up trade, or the trade, is I'm talking about the trade that acquired Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance, and 2 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray. Now, when we first heard that trade, a lot of people out there were like, what are the Hawks doing? But I'm here to tell you now, the Atlanta Hawks just got some of the biggest trade value in a trade since a long time. And if you want to go a step further, the Atlanta Hawks not only won this trade, but it was so lopsided. It's turning out to be so lopsided that a lot of fans and a lot of people are saying, how did the Pelicans go for this? Now, the Pelicans were looking for a point guard and this, that, and the other. But the Atlanta Hawks virtually got Dyson Daniels, who is a better fit for the team. He is a better defender than DeJounte Murray. A lot of people don't want to admit that. They got Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance, who's turning out to be a phenomenal role player for this team, and 2 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray. Now, you in the comments, tell me who won that trade. I'm telling you right now, a lot of people didn't like it, but the Atlanta Hawks overwhelmingly won that trade. Which leads me to my next point, which is the third word, forward. And I'm talking about, that's kind of a play on words. I'm talking about 2 things. Moving forward, the forward direction, but I'm also talking about the position, the forward position on the NBA roster. Now, talking about forward, Jalen Johnson did his thing, and Jalen Johnson is becoming a really, really, really good player. And the reason why I kind of want to highlight that, we just recently gave him a max or extension, making $30 million a year. And if you compare him to some guys who signed their rookie extension, Jalen Johnson as a forward on this team was a steal, okay? He's going to make $30 million a year. You got guys like Evan Mobley. You got guys like Franz Wagner that are making $45+ million. And I'm telling you right now, I would rather have Jalen Johnson. And as he continues to grow and get better, we're seeing his game evolve where he is going to be that star player on a team. And for you to have a star player on a team for $30 million a year, sign me up. Now, the second part of forward is talking about Larry Nance. Larry Nance also had a great showing. I think he was 6 for 7 from threes. He was out there maybe 5 for 7 from threes. He was out there balling, and moving forward, Larry Nance has showed us that he can play the forward position. I think a lot of people have put him into a center bubble or the center position bubble, but we're seeing that he can play alongside with another center, and he can shoot the ball from three-point land very, very efficient. So moving forward, it's important to have Larry Nance on the team to play backup forward, because he can give you great minutes, he can hit the three, and he's still an athletic player. A lot of people know Larry Nance Jr. from his athletic ability, and he still has that while he's evolving his game to shoot the three. Now, this leads me to my last point, which talks about the future. And the future is bright. If you're not watching, the future is bright for the Atlanta Hawks. I know that this season may not be where a lot of people want them to be, but the future is bright for the Atlanta Hawks. You got all this young talent playing. You got all these good players playing. You got superstars developing at different levels. And the Atlanta Hawks' future is bright. But in this topic, I want to talk about something that's not so bright. And that's, what are the Atlanta Hawks going to do with all these good, talented players who are on different levels and different stages of development? I think it's going to come down to the Atlanta Hawks' future. It's going to come down to 3 or 4 decisions. And the Atlanta Hawks are on the right side of that decision or those decisions, they will be really, really good for a long time coming. If they're on the wrong side of those decisions, I don't know. And these decisions include Trae Young. What do we do about him going forward? We know he's an all-star player. Do you continue to build this team around him? Which I say yay. Do you continue to build this team around him and go from there? Another decision is DeAndre Hunter. This team is continuing to develop, and it seems like DeAndre Hunter is in the rear view mirror. Do the Atlanta Hawks re-sign DeAndre within the next few years? Do they let him walk? Do they trade him? What do they do with him? Especially as you're seeing young talent, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Richichet develop. Do you have a need for DeAndre Hunter? 3, Bogey Bogdanovic. Is it Bogdanovic? What is his role in this team going forward? As people continue to get better, or will you need him? Is he a bench player? Is he a starter? What do you do with him? And then the last decision that's very, very important is, after this year, who do you stick with at center? The Atlanta Hawks have done this 2-center kind of deal where Clint takes the starting role and then you finish up with Onyeka. And they have really 2 starting centers on their roster. At the end of the day, you got to make a decision. As Clint has an expiring contract, do you re-sign Clint Capella or do you trade Onyeka Okongwu? Because going forward, you can't pay both centers $25 million a year to be on your roster. So those decisions are very important, and it's going to impact the future. But if you agree or disagree with me in this video, please leave a comment down below and let me know what I am wrong or right. And if you enjoyed this video, please check this one out right here. And like always, peace.